What is good, everybody? It's your boy Swidge, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I attempt to survive 100 days in Minecraft, but I'm in jars. Like literal jars. This was such an insane, fun, challenging experience. I swear, every biome, situation, animal, you name it, they're all in separate jars and create such a unique experience. There are over 50 jars in this whole world. If you guys want to try it out, link will be in the description. This is my attempt at 100 days. But before we get into it, hit that sub button and like the video. It helps a lot. Let's get into it. Day one, boys and girls. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but I looked around and it was actually pretty cool. I was enclosed in a little jar. I looked around and there was a bunch of other jars around me that looked very different to the one that I was in. Of course, I chopped down all the wood I could, upgraded my tools, and started chopping away at this tree here. As you can see earlier, there was 2 books in that chest. One was the challenge book and one was kind of the tutorial, kind of what to do. Basically how it works is there's plenty of jars around the map that each have a biome or something special to them. I'm sure if you guys watch the whole video, you guys will see. Yeah, I saw the map and I thought it'd be really fun to play. And I was really excited to get into it. I kept hearing some spiders or just some noises coming down below as soon as I spawned in. So obviously when I went down below in this jar here, I finally found the source of all this noise. There was a spider spawner here. It's really well thought out. It looked really cool. The chest had some good loot for me. But I ended off day one by just being a simple Minecraft farmer. And of course I wanted to go to sleep. So I went back down, made sure I got enough string to make some wool and a bed. And I had my first sleep. On day 2, it was a really good start. We were caving and we found diamonds on day 2. Like, who can say that? So, of course, I carefully gathered the diamonds. And once I knew when it was safe, I gathered every single one. When I got back up to the surface, made myself a diamond pickaxe. And I started smelting my iron because I wanted to get that full iron set right away. I even found some tricks with these jars. If I went into the toggle my perspective, I could see on the outside, see if I was missing anything. Before we get into today's video, I'd like to thank our sponsors today, World of Tanks. Now, what is World of Tanks? It's an awesome free game, and they're running a super exciting promo called Tank Mania. It is an insane game where you actually just ride around in tanks and shoot other tanks. There's a huge tank arsenal. I played a few matches, and it was so much fun. Roll out, boys. Oh, this is crazy, though. I just ran over a tree. I'll pull up. What's up, Dan? Boom. Oh, get destroyed, bro. Boom. I need to chill. Victory. Oh, I'm kind of nice. I am kind of nice, guys. You basically get in these massive battles and you fight other tanks, and there's over like 500 combinations of tanks, so you'll never look like someone else. You're just a force of nature. Not only that, but you get a piece of history, and it just meets action, and it's just boom, bombs everywhere. So much fun. The best part about all this, guys, it is a free online game, literally accessible to anyone. Whether you're a noob, a pro, it doesn't really matter. Anybody can hop in. There's already 100 million players. So hop in and go share the World of Tanks. They have maps of all kinds, from urban to industrial. Like, I ran over a bunch of trees and a bunch of other city things. It was actually a lot of fun. But if you guys decide to give this a try, guys, make sure you use that invite code TANKMANIA, which is already in the link in the description, so you guys don't have to worry about that. But basically, if you use this link here, it'll give you a head start. You'll get a tier 5 tank, 2,500,000 credits, and 7 days of premium access. They also give you 3 premium tanks to test, but this is only for new players, so make sure when you register for the first time, it'll be in your portal. I would 100% definitely take advantage of this, guys. I'll see you guys in the World of Tanks. On day 3, it was time to finally set out from my lonely little jar. There were so many jars, I had to explore the world a little bit more. And when I started to bridge, I already knew this 100-day playthrough was gonna be very, very bad for my pinky. You guys know when you shift and you gotta get across places without falling off, that's a problem for your pinky. So I found myself in a jar, but it was a village jar. I really didn't know how to act. This was my first time in another jar. Was I supposed to bring them a gift? Was I supposed to enter a certain way? It didn't matter. It was my world. So I checked out the village. They had 2 dogs held captive and a little bit of carrots and their farms. I mean, that's all I know how to do when I enter a village. I know how to steal all their stuff, check all their chests, and just literally raid them. I walked around, checked the village out, and then I ran into this little guy here. His name was the Explorer. And he had a bunch of items I could trade for. He had a Nether compass and a Stronghold compass. I wasn't quite sure what to do with it quite yet, but I'm sure I could probably use it later. I spent the rest of day 3 literally collecting any type of seed I could. So if I saw any grass, I'd break it so I can get some wheat seeds, because I need some food, guys. On day 4, I did what I know how to do best: troll the villagers, rang their bells so they could run around like crazy men. And I found the sponge for the jar. In almost every jar, there's going to be a sponge hidden in it. So it'll be in like an Easter egg area, and it's actually one of the challenges in the book, just to find every sponge in every jar. Obviously, I wanted to find the majority of them, but I knew a lot of them were going to be hard, so I wasn't too caught up in it. I actually found myself entering this sand jar. Well, I guess it's like a sand temple desert jar, and there was actually a lot of mobs here, and I came to that realization I wasn't ready yet. When I was ready to enter the temple, I made sure I roofed myself off. There was nothing going down there that was going to trigger the pressure plate. And then I got rid of the pressure plate, found a notch god apple in here, and all the other chests, they were okay. And then there was a fortune 3 book, so that was actually a big win. So a fortune 3 book and the notch apple were huge. And can't forget the TNT. You never know when you need it. When I got back on day 6, it was a domestic day, I guess you could call it. Had to do some farming, chopping down some trees, and making sure I had enough wheat and bread. I mean, I did take a lot of hay bales from the village, but it wasn't enough. And I actually just paid a visit down to the spiders down below. I don't know why. But it was time to keep exploring the jars and see what was going on. So I arrived at another jar. It seemed to be just literally a stone jar. But when I dug in, it seemed to be like a cave jar. So this was actually going to be really useful. So of course, I got to digging and some spiders and some mobs tried to attack me. But you know, that's what happens when you're in a cave. I get it. And guys, this map is in 1.17. So as you can see, the ores do look kind of different and there is different biomes. On day 8, I said hello to the mobs beside me. These 4 jars were actually directly beside my spawn jar. Inside this crate, there was food for all of them. There was some wheat in here, some seeds for the chickens, and some carrots for the pigs. I don't know what it was. They just looked so cute in those jars. And at the same time, I felt really sad because they're probably going to be there their whole lives. So my bad. But hey, I did visit them. I did say hello. I did say what's up to my neighbors. And then on day 9, I find myself back in the caves and just caving away. I wanted to get as much ores as possible, still taking advantage of the perspective glitch. As I kept exploring through the cave here, I found myself some lava. So I ended up just making a bunch of obsidian and mining it because you never know when you need obsidian. The deeper and deeper I got into these caves, I don't know what it was. The mobs were preloaded, but there was just so many mobs everywhere. I didn't feel safe at all. Something about creepers in this whole entire map, in this world in general, they just kept showing up everywhere. And don't worry guys, while I was caving away, I was still thinking, where's that sponge? And when I got this piece of iron, I actually saw it right here. It was pretty sneaky. If I actually wasn't there, I don't think I would have found the sponge in this one, to be honest. On day 13, I actually found myself on the surface of a jar. This was the first time I've been to the top, and it looked pretty interesting from up here. But of course, because I was on the outside of it, I scaled down the side, got myself some diamonds, so that was pretty cool actually. Later on that night, when I got back to our spawn, I went over to this jar over here. This one looked like kind of like an ocean jar, but as I went inside, saw a bunch of squids, a little bit of seaweed, and there was some fishies. I kind of got distracted, kind of just checking out the whole place. I thought it was pretty cool. There was just like a floating water jar there. That next morning, guys, I had enough diamonds to actually make a full iron set. So that was actually really big because I didn't know what was coming yet. I actually had so many ores and just stuff from the caves. So on day 15, I set out. I wanted to get a little further. I noticed there was some more jars behind the cave one. So that's exactly what I did. I lowered myself there, and off in the distance, I saw like it just looked like a bunch of oak wood and a few books. Once I got a better look, it just seemed like a really big library. I tried to look from the outside. There wasn't very much clues, but as soon as I went in, I was like, oh no, it is a maze, a Minecraft maze. And this one here was really difficult. Like, all you see is oak wood and bookshelves. And there's just so many dead ends here and there. I actually got lost. I ended up actually being back at the entrance. The chests got gradually better and better. One of the chests had a flint and steel and a fire charge, so I think it wanted me to light it up. But I was too scared. I wanted to explore the map on my own. After a long, treacherous headache of a journey of a maze, I ran into this room here, and it was filled with husks. Like, they kept spawning in, and they kept walking towards me. And as I was taking them out, by the way, this sword is insane. I was like Smite 4. And they're just destroying all the husks. This skeleton, riding this skeleton horse, comes at me at full speed, like literally around the corner, and it's destroying me with this bow. It was already too late. I tried to charge this thing and really get my hits on it, but it actually got me extremely low. Not only was I on fire, but I was getting just ran down by husks. All of a sudden, I got burnt to a crisp. The skeleton came over and finished me off, but I came back with vengeance. After my journey back into this room, which took a long time, I ran and got all my stuff, and then I noticed the skeleton wasn't here anymore. There was just husks spawning, so obviously I thought, I was like, where are these husks coming from? Broke this thing down, took out the spawner, and then I looted the chest. Look at these weapons. Really good diamond sword, really nice shovel. But then I needed to find that skeleton. I wanted to get his bow. So I actually entered the maze again. And that's when I found the skeleton, and then I finished the job. The bow was called the Unsettling Bow. You can feel the souls trapped in it. It was actually really strong. Finished off the skeleton horse because, you know, it wasn't accomplished to take me out. So once I took that out, took all the skulls in that room, then I began collecting bookshelves because I was going to need them for my enchantment station. I got back that next day, and the first thing I wanted to see was my animals, so I fed them. It always brings me peace and always, relaxes me, feeding animals. My food supply was getting low though. I was eating a lot because I was taking a lot of damage. So I did my farming. But on day 20, I did return back into the caves here. And then I actually found this baby mine shaft. And of course, there was some cave spiders. No one likes cave spiders. I'm sorry. If you're a fan, I'm not a fan of you. Unless you're a fan of me, then I'm a fan of you. Subscribe to Swidge. But yeah, okay, we're getting off track here. We took out the cave spider spawner and we mined all this stuff in the mines. And then we were out of there, okay? It was a really small mine. Ah, yes, day 21 to 28. So let me tell you, this is what I call a jar of battle tower, of pain, of stress, of just way too many mobs and just way too much going on. As you can see, I tried to get myself in there really safely and slowly and take out the mob spawner, but some of these mobs they have enchanted weapons, enchanted swords, armors. Like, this is not it, guys. I was not mentally prepared, to be completely honest with you guys, for what this battle tower had in mind. I was like, oh, it looks like there's some mossy cobblestone. It's like a jungle temple. I don't know. But then next thing you know, I'm getting destroyed by mobs and they're coming from every angle. And to add to all that, as I'm killing some zombies or some skeletons, I literally hear witches above me on levels going, ha, ha, ha. What's so funny, bro? It's not that funny. I'm struggling over here. But I guess it's good for the content because I don't know what it is. I love watching people struggle. I think I'm a bad person for that. But I did develop a strategy to just kind of dig below and break the spawner from below. You know, it was a lot safer for me. I ate a golden apple before I entered the 3rd level, and I saw a slime. Like, slime, what are you doing in this battle tower? Just leave. Don't be that guy, pal. Trust me, you're not that guy, pal. And of course, there's so many slimes just jumping around. More mobs are raiding me. I'm getting poisoned from random witches. Like, there's just so much going on, guys, and I apologize for that. But just imagine my head at this time. I'm literally just, casually playing Minecraft, building over this tower. Next thing you know, I'm literally fighting for my life. Luckily, in the tower, there was a lot of chests that were giving out, apples and gold. So I was able to eat a lot of golden apples during my journeys. But just... oh my goodness, what? This is crazy. Like, did anybody else not just see a group of 3 witches? Like, why is there so many witches? I'm okay with skeletons, with zombies, not too much creepers because there's a lot of creepers too. But witches are so annoying. Next thing you know, I'm almost near the top and then all of a sudden, I'm getting raided by husks with enchanted swords, enchanted diamond boots, and like diamond chestplates. Like, this was absolutely insane. I did get lucky though. A lot of them got stuck right here and so I was able to farm them, get a lot of XP, and steal all their boots. When I got to the top, I literally found the source. There was 3 spawners up there. So I made sure I took every single one out. And just look at all the spiders. This room was just chaos. It was just so much going on. There were spawners, there were skeletons. But you know what? In the chest, it was actually worth it. The loot inside was pretty good actually. Fortune 3 shovel, 4 diamonds, a looting 3 iron sword, some gold, and efficiency 3 soak touch pick. We'll take it. When I was on top of this structure, man, did I feel accomplished and very happy and relieved just to be out of there. What did I get myself into? Like, when I looked across in one of the jars, there was like 30 mobs in one jar and I felt so bad for whatever was in there. But the next day I needed a little break, so I started making myself a little platform, and this platform was going to become our enchantment station. Luckily, we didn't actually have to make these bookshelves ourselves with leather and paper because we just grabbed it from the library jar, and we made this insane pickaxe on breaking 3, efficiency 4, and fortune 3. Come on. And I made a nice little square out of all the zombie heads and skeleton heads that I collected because I didn't like them. On the night of day 30, I ventured into my next adventure, which would end up being, I guess, the caves of 1.17. Of course, I was greeted with a bunch of creepers and skeletons because, that hasn't happened at all this whole entire playthrough. But I did collect a bunch of lapis and a bunch of other things. There was an axolotl spawner in here, so I definitely wasn't going to mess with that because, I mean, who messes with axolotls? They're awesome. I love them. I was greeted with diamonds, so I knew this was going to be a great sign. This was a lot more peaceful than the battle tower. And just being down here, it was so beautiful, guys. Look at this. There's glow squids. There's axolotls. This is the 1.17 cave experience right here. This was a lot more relaxing, like I'm saying, guys, than that battle tower. I literally needed this cave experience just to get my head off of that. I killed some glow squids. I hung out with the dolphins. And I continued caving. But my vacation didn't last very long. Next thing you know, I was in a different portion of the cave, and there was just a bunch of mobs and creepers blowing up everywhere to ruin my experience. As I was exploring, I actually found this room that was full of creepers. But there was a bunch of obsidian here. It actually looked like a nether room. I don't know, maybe this was a good access point into the Nether, so I actually dug a really nice tunnel here and made sure it was really observable. That way I could come back at a later time. I started off day 37 with a nice enchant and chopping some woods with my newly enchanted axe, and it was time to see some more jars, because I kept looking off in the distance and I wanted to explore some more. This jar here was super cool. There was 2 foxes just chilling in there, and when I went to the crate, there was some berries. I fed one of them berries, the other guy ran away from me, but I was, able to slowly sneak up on him after getting destroyed by berries. And I fed him the other one, and then all of a sudden I watched the foxes make a baby fox, and baby foxes are so cute. Like, look at him, he's having the best time of his life. I did search this jar for the sponge because I wanted to find every sponge. I actually resorted to going up, and it was actually underneath this log. Very clever, very clever. I also went to check out a jar right beside this fox habitat, and this one I think it was just like a birch flower forest. There wasn't too much here. There was just a bunch of flowers, so I wasn't too interested. Across the way on day 38, I arrived at this one here. This one is to kind of represent like the mesa biome. While I was there, I checked out every other jar within the vicinity, and I actually been to a good amount of jars, but there was still a lot more to find. The crate in here wasn't super interesting, but the area was actually pretty cool. When I went down, there was a baby mine shaft with the minecart, had a name tag, a golden apple, and then I wanted to search for that sponge. Like, where could the sponge actually be? So I looked everywhere. Like, I honestly couldn't find it, and then it was actually on the side of this mesa, I guess, hill, and then I placed a sign saying sponge found. I tried to do that every single one. Some I didn't, I just forgot. On the night of day 38, I was over top of, I want to say this is the jungle jar, but it was way too crazy underneath. Like, look how many mobs are down there. I see them hanging out with parrots, but I did not want to take that risk. Yeah, so I did some Mission Impossible things. The next day, for some reason, none of the mobs were burning up, so I decided to call quits on that jar, and I went to the next. This next one here was actually pretty neat. This was like the Arctic jar, I guess you could say, the snow biome, and I actually went crazy here. I don't know why, but I just love the sound of ice when it breaks with your pickaxe, so I went crazy. Stared this polar bear in the eye. As I guess I was doing the global warming, I was kind of messing up their habitat. So, I'm not surprised they didn't attack me. They probably should have, because I was literally just destroying their habitat. There was actually this jar that was tipped on its side in the middle of all the jars here, and there was 2 turtles in here. Inside the crate, there was a turtle helmet, and so I threw it on, and I went under the sea. And if you guys don't know, when you have helmets on like this, you can breathe underwater for a good amount of time. So I tested it, stood under there, and was really obnoxious. I returned back into the Arctic biome, and I blew up a creeper, and I added even more to their global warming. A terrible guy, I know. But underneath the explosion, it actually exposed 2 villagers underneath this place. So I went down to see what was going on. One was a normal one, one was a zombie one. I didn't really know what was going on. But inside the brewing stand, there was a potion of weakness and a golden apple, so I started curing the zombie villager. While I was waiting for the zombie villager to get cured, I literally just went up there and I tried to repair the damage I did up top so I could feel better, even though I'd already messed up their habitat. And then that creepy weird noise got triggered, the one when you actually cure the zombie pigment, and then I was the zombie doctor. On day 41 to 43, well, I entered another 1.17 cave, and of course, I get a little peek inside, and it is just straight mob mayhem. And so I did the smart thing. I did not want to die. I shot as many arrow shots as I could to kind of clear the crowd. But as soon as I got in there, there was so many mobs. I made a break for it, but then I saw diamonds. So I had to do a pit stop and, kind of just hide myself in the wall here. When I was ready, I slowly let more mobs come out of their hidey holes. There had to be a spawner somewhere, or the map creators or whoever made this map, they just want you to literally deal with 5,000 mobs at a time. Like, look at all these zombies. I'm literally playing Walking Dead here. There was a spawning room here, which I torched up to reduce the spawns, and I kept exploring around the caves. I mean, one of the good things, there was actually a lot of ores and a lot of stuff that you could mine and actually use. But of course, you had to go through all the mobs and kill everything you saw to even get to them. Surprisingly, guys, there was not too many mobs, so I could actually infiltrate the spawning room, and I was able to take it out. And the chests in there, they weren't super rewarding either, so it was not worth my struggle. But I did find a geode, which was guarded by, you guys want to guess? Nah, I think you guys get it at this point. But guys, I wanted more. I guess, I wasn't sick of 1.17 caves and mobs. I want to keep exploring every single jar. And so this jar was easily like the Lush caves. It looked beautiful in here, guys. I actually haven't had the pleasure to actually check out the Lush caves yet in the new update, so this was actually a really eye-opening experience. I mean, if this is what they look like in the game, in this little jar, then I'm really excited to see it in real Minecraft. But of course, there's creepers causing problems. It literally made a hole in the ground here through the jar. I patched it up because, come on, pay some respects to the jar. And you guys like this mini collage of creepers? Well, this is exactly what I dealt with in this cave. I even found the sponge in this cave, which was really hard because it's a lush cave. It actually blended in really well. Day 49, I decided it was a good time to go check out that nether portal area now. I wanted to see what the nether was talking about. When I tried to actually get into the nether portal, for some reason, it wouldn't work. It literally kept shattering, like all my dreams in real life. Like, it was all just coming to me, guys. It was so sad. So I made a trip over to the old wise explorer guy in the village that sells the nether compass, because I'm assuming that's probably what I need to use to get to... Why am I talking like this? I went to go to the villager guy, I got my emeralds right, and I bought the compass, and then I started heading in the direction where the needle was telling me. Hopefully it was not lying to me, because that would be really tragic, but I had to trust it. It led me over to this jar that actually had a witch hut in it. It looked like a little swamp area. It was actually pretty cute. Of course, there were some creepers, had to handle those, and there was a little black cat inside the hut. So I fed a piece of salmon to him or her, and I sat with them and enjoyed their company for the night. But I had to keep moving on. My pinky was getting absolutely sore from this one. It was being held in the same spot for so long, and halfway through I realized I don't have enough cobblestone slabs, so I actually had to run back to the base, and I had to go back to some more bridging. On the night of day 51, we actually finally made it. It took a while, I won't lie to you guys, and then we found this jar. We found the sponge right away, and this was the nether jar. It had some red glass. I was really liking the vibe. And then from day 52 to 57, we were now in the nether. I was really hoping we get a break from the jars in the nether, but as soon as we got to the nether, more jars. They just looked different, that's all. They didn't even look different. They were just different colors with different biomes. The first stop was this enchanted forest. I believe it's called an enchanted forest. So I could kill a bunch of endermen and collect ender pearls because I don't need them when I want to go to the end. And I kept bridging. And I looked back at the nether hub, I guess you could call it. There was already so many mobs inside it. While I was walking past this one, the piglins and the hoglins could see me through the glass. And they were already getting super mad at me. But I went to the top, collected my sponge, and then I went to go trade with the piglins. They were already like going crazy. I dropped a pile of gold there earlier and they were already trading away. I showed them just a sliver of my body and they all went crazy. So I had to be really careful on how I approached this. But there were so many piglins and I had so much gold from the caves that my trading process didn't even last very long. It was super easy. I was being a super rude overworld person and I pushed some zombie pigments over. They didn't deserve it, I know. I felt really bad. Not really. But then we continued searching through the nether jars here. Then I ran to this one here. This one was crazy. This jar surely had to represent the basalt and just like the crazy side of the nether. Because I even had a fire potion. I tried to get a couple hits on the mobs inside, but the magma cubes. I created a new enemy with the magma cubes in this trip. I entered, I said screw it, I didn't have the patience for it. I was feeling super confident and I hit one of the zombie pigmen. I know you guys in the comment section are gonna be like, Swidge, what are you doing? Are you okay? Are you mentally sane? Why would you hit a zombie pigman? But after that, I was definitely taught a lesson. I got destroyed. I got back out and I tried to take it a little bit smarter this time. This time, I decided to kill the magma cubes first, but the next thing you know, you guys know how slimes work. Once you kill one, they just multiply, and things got out of hand. There was just like 20 slimes on my screen, but don't worry guys, I got it all handled. And once I did, I found the sponge right here in the corner, being lit on fire with lava, but I guess it doesn't catch on fire at all. I didn't really need anything from that jar here, so I kept moving on, and this one here was the nether fortress jar, and I knew I was definitely going to need something from this here. So it's basically the nether fortress condensed down into one, like, you know, in one space, and it's actually really cool. It was really fun because there was just a lot of blazes everywhere and just a lot going on. Of course, I was overly confident again and decided to hit more zombie pigmen. I don't know guys, I was just super confident on this trip. You know, I had good armor and a fire resistance potion, so I guess that's it. I went down to the bottom level and there was actually a strider spawner down here and they weren't much of a harm to me, so I didn't take it out. And I continued just looking around for the sponge. Where could it be in the nether fortress? I checked on the bottom levels underneath the spawners. I ran through the blazes just to look if it was under the other spawner. No luck. I tried to look at it from another distance and I was like, oh, I didn't check under the chest by the spawner. So I ran back and actually got the sponge there. Big win for the boys and girls. Then I entered the jar across, and this jar here was actually pretty insane. This one was, I'm pretty sure, a Bastion jar, and of course, the magma cubes are like, what's up, Swidge? Welcome to the jar. and they jumped me. So I had to retreat to the bottom. And the piglins were not happy with me because I didn't want to wear gold down there. Because I had really good armor, but I was able to distract them with some gold. And once I did that, you know, I was able to loot their chests and grab their gold blocks, which the sponge was hiding right underneath. So that was a big win as well. And then this was the final jar, I believe, in the Nether. And this one here, I think it just represents kind of the netherite mining, that underground part of the Nether to look for that netherite. I didn't know what it was at first, so I just kept digging around, and then I found a piece of netherite. So I'm like, oh, this is definitely what I think it is. And so I set up a really sophisticated system of strip mining for netherite. It was actually really realistic because you couldn't just like mine around in one area and find a bunch of netherite. There was lava pockets here and there that really annoyed me because I had to like really pay attention and back up and block it off. But once I was happy with the amount of netherite that I got, it was time for me to go. I'd been in the Nether for way too long. There was some pigmen, you know, blocking my route back to my portal, so I did push them off because I didn't want to aggro them. I already done that earlier and did not turn out well. I said hello to the ones in the hub, and it was my time to go home. But before I got home, I had another snack with the black cat, and of course, when I got back, I had to feed my animals. I was able to actually make 7 netherite ingots, which was actually huge. I can make a full set and 1 or 2 tools. From day 63 to 66, it was time for me to start trading with the villagers because I wanted to get that end compass. I was able to get the end compass, but I also wanted one more thing while I was there. I invited these 2 villagers down here so that they could become my my friends, so I could get a mending villager. So I kept trying to turn these guys into the librarian. And after a whole day, I was able to get a mending librarian, which was going to be huge because I was going to need to put mending on my pickaxe after that huge netherite mining trip. On day 68, it was time for me to get my gear right because we were about to go see that ender dragon soon. So I literally made as much enchantments as I could, combined so many good things, and boom, your boy was covered in netherite. I was so ready to take on this ender dragon. Unfortunately, I did have to kill my friends, the cows, because I needed some good food before I went on this great battle. And so I went the direction the compass pointed me to on day 69, and on day 70 we finally arrived at the Stronghold jar. My pinky was sore, guys, trust me. The Stronghold actually looks super cool. It looks super epic on the inside. There was 2 silverfish spawners, and inside the chests at the library they're actually pretty good. No complaints whatsoever. That's all there was. And after that, it was time for us to enter the end. On day 71, I entered the end, and this was probably one of the coolest end battles / scenes I've ever seen. The way this was designed, it was actually super difficult, but it was actually really fun. Every single tower was floating on an island, basically, and there was random platforms. The dragon was flying between them, through them. It was really cool. It was actually really difficult to hit all the towers and get rid of all the healing towers. That was the fun part about it. It was a much different experience, and it was just a much more challenging. But once all the towers were done, it was just me and the ender dragon, and homegirl had no idea what was coming. Your boy was decked out in full netherite. Not only that, but my bow was really strong and my weapons too. They tried to knock me up, but I'm an MLG water bucketer. Nice try. And the battle continued on. After a long fought battle, the ender dragon purged for her very last time, and I had to end it now. Got a few swings in and boom. Yo boy, he freed the end. Yes sir. In a jar world, I killed the ender dragon. I felt super accomplished. Of course, I collected all the XP and I collected the ender dragon egg. And then I went on my remote getaway to see the other side of the end. Because I was like, if I have an elytra with rockets, flying around to the jars are going to be so much easier than bridging, because my pinky is already endured enough. So what did I do? I bridged even further to find some end cities. The first one I found did not have an end ship, but I continued looking, and this one did, and man was I excited. But first gotta collect that ender dragon head, and then I went to go get the chest and the coveted elytra. And because I knew I wasn't going to stop until I found an elytra, I packed some rockets, and that made it so much more easier moving through the end here. So I was able to loot so many more end cities and so many more end ships. We found so much good loot in every single end city. I mean, obviously the shulker boxes were really annoying to get through and making me levitate all the time, but the loot in the end cities, they never let you down. Like this one here, got a lot of diamonds, some iron, and just sometimes, most of the time actually, there's really good diamond armor. But we spent a lot of time on that side of things. I don't want to show you everything because I was literally just flying around and looting. But we got back on day 83. I put Mending and Unbreaking on my Elytra, and I called them Chicken Wangs. And then I got a god pair of boots, called them the Beastie Boots. On day 84, it was time to explore our jars. Now that we hit an Elytra, this was so much easier than bridging and putting my pinky in pain, because that was a problem, guys. As I was flying around the jars, I saw this ocean monument, and I was not ready to fight an ocean monument. I'd already been through so much stress, so I wanted to check out some of these other jars here. This one here was a mountain biome, I'm assuming. There was creepers there, and I ruined the goat's habitat. On day 85, we arrived at another one here. There was a bunch of alpacas, or llamas. I can't remember what they're called. There was an explorer here with a mushroom compass. I wasn't too interested in it. I didn't have much time. I wanted to see the rest of the jars. At the end of day 85, I ended up going to the jungle jar, and it was so cute. The pandas were having a grand old time there, and I hung out with them, and one was rolling around really cute. And on day 86 to 87, I found the Woodland mansion jar, and it was crazy. I was not prepared for this. I totally forgot how strong pillagers are. Like, it was just, oh, I was lucky I did not die. Yeah, the evokers and the vexes coming around with the swords, that's probably the most annoying part. I did take out the spawner that spawned in the guys with the axes, and the guys with the axes hurt so much. To add to it, the vexes are flying at me, but it was worth it, guys. I got some totems out of it. I even used the creeper to my advantage, and I cleared the Woodland mansion. It actually wasn't as big as the regular ones. I was really thankful for that. But I did have to deal with the vexes after the fact the evoker died. But it was all good. We handled it. On day 88, I ended up at another jar. There was a bunch of donkeys and some horses. That was it. I didn't really find anything else. I couldn't find the sponge for that one either. Then I went to the pillager jar. I saw him holding that iron golem captive, and I wanted to find their leader. Luckily, there was a spawner on the middle floor, so I waited for the main guy to come out. And boom, I got voluntary exile and got the curse. I went around looking for the sponge, and it was actually just right on the corner of the stairs here. It was actually very well hid, I'll give it to him. And on day 89, I brought the raid to the village. I rang the bells, and I made sure to cover up this area here, because that's exactly where I'm hiding my Mending villager. And we prepared. All the villagers ran inside, I blocked them off, and I didn't know where they went. Where were the pillagers? So I checked the top of the jar, and of course, they're chilling on top of the lid, which was actually really good, because I wouldn't have to be worried about villagers dying. None of the villagers had to die, and so I handled the pillagers on top of the bottle. I kept handling the waves on top of the bottle, but for one of the waves, they actually spawned on the bridge on the way over to the desert. It was really weird. I shot one arrow, and all of them spawned out and fell into the void. So that was pretty lit. The final wave was on top of the jar. I finished it off, and then I cashed in all my emeralds with the other villagers to see if there was any deals. On day 93, it was a sand collecting day. I wanted to make my own jar. I wanted to make a trophy jar, just to commemorate all the jars we've been to and the journey that we've been on. Day 100 was spent and celebrated by placing all of our items into our trophy jar. And it was really nice when I was placing those items on the wall, just remembering each memory that I had on each day and some of the painful memories I had on each day. But it was actually such a fun journey. It was such an interesting concept to see every biome and situation in Minecraft in jars. If you guys enjoyed this video, guys, be sure to smash that like button. Don't forget to click the link in the description, guys. Use that special promo link for World of Tanks. Do not want to miss out on that. All I really did for the rest of day 100 was fly around and enjoy my elytra. I had so much fun making this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been your boy Swidge, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.